This is hour two, and in our partnership with ECAC Hockey, the leaders of hockey on and off the ice. Learn more at ecachockey.com. We're happy to bring on Kevin Westgarth to the show, VP of Hockey Development and Strategic Collaboration. Now, that's a title, Kevin. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Shane. Great to be here. Yeah, I particularly enjoy my title. It says a lot and says nothing, depending on what you need. But it does generally describe what I do. Try to work together with other folks in the hockey community just to grow our game and make the world a better place.
As an ECAC Princeton alumni, one of the interesting things I wanted to discuss with you about, you get a chance to look back at your time at Princeton, and there is the educational component, there is the on-ice component, of course, but also, talk about the leadership component and the things you learned on and off the ice that help take you from your post-playing career into your post career, and how those lessons, looking back, really help shape you as an executive.
Yeah, I mean you're spot on, and certainly the on ice and in the school or the classroom setting is all part and parcel to that full education. But I think you're pointing out that there's a lot more that goes on, obviously, when you're going through your 4 years of university or college. And I definitely value mostly the people that I was able to kind of certainly play hockey with, my teammates. We're just an incredible group. I probably didn't truly appreciate it at the time, but my old coach, Guy Godowski, who's actually at Penn State now, and been coaching there for a while, was always adamant about how kind of lucky and special it was to be able to be playing with, certainly pretty good hockey players, but also people who are interested in the world, certainly pretty sharp for the most part. And just people that were ambitious and wanted to get after it. And that was really, I think, a great kind of frame of reference to kind of kick off your, quasi-adult career going through college, and to be able to learn from everybody there, from coaches, again, to teammates on the hockey side, and be able to learn how to train better and play better and just prepare better. And then having to mix that in with your pretty high level and rigorous schooling and the work products that you were responsible for on that end. There was a ton of training and kind of time management, and really just making sure you were both able to compartmentalize if need be, if things weren't going well in one or the other, and being able to kind of keep things a little bit separate, which you get involved in, obviously, so many projects and so many different areas in the corporate or the work world here at the NHL. Everything's connected to everything else. So being able to kind of keep those things separate in your mind and kind of emotionally, and really gives you a lot better chance of success and being able to hit it out of the park. So that's been a heck of a run for my time at Princeton, and I do think it prepared me pretty well for this next chapter, which is going pretty well.
One of the interesting observations I had when observing players within the ECAC, men or women, and then talking to the coaches, or also administration and NHL personnel, one of the things that jumped out to me is the high level of grit, how gritty the players are, just not on the ice, but off the ice. And how much do you think that has played into that combination of how difficult it is academically at the ECAC level, and then also you have to manage your time during the week. You got practices, you have training, you have school, and then Friday night you have a game, and then you got to put that aside, and Saturday night you have another game at a different opponent, and try to manage all of that at the same time. I think it's a great training ground to help teach people how to be mentally and emotionally gritty, and just be able to push yourself through when you don't think you can get yourself through.
I think that's a great insight, and definitely I think one of the big values that we get out of, I mean, certainly hockey, you and I are probably a little biased. I think hockey is probably at the forefront of being able to teach lessons and kind of life skills and build character for honestly for the benefit of those times where you're on the ice with your teammates, but also those times when you're off the ice, either socially or otherwise, but certainly in school or in at work. It really it it is impressive to see. I love that you use the word grittiness and like resilience, which we kind of chatted about a little before we hopped on camera here. But it is such an important, I think, aspect to being able to achieve success. Is you're pretty darn special and lucky if you somehow just try once and you get it right and you're able to move on and you're successful each time you try. Obviously, that's not the case for pretty much everybody. So being able to get knocked down and get back up and try again. The biggest thing I think I learned certainly during college in the 10 years I was able to play professional hockey and even now is like consistency is a huge part of excellence. And it really, talent and is great, all well and good, but really that showing up every single day. And my brother, actually, Brad, who I got to play 3 years with at Princeton, I think said it best at one point. Assuming he must have stolen this or somebody, but like, um, hockey or in your work life or whatever, it's like getting to do what you love is doing it even when you don't love it. And that's kind of how you become the best at anything. Is like you're going to find nothing's perfect all the time, so you're going to have challenges, and being able to battle through those will make you stronger and make you better, and that's how you get things done.
I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things I wanted to also ask you about is when you're in, playing in ECAC and then you have the high level academics, how much do you think developing those those habits of like self-discipline of, these are the things I have to do. I don't really want to do them, but I have to do them. Or,
Right.
this is something I want to do, but I know I shouldn't. Can I stop myself from doing it? And building
Yeah.
those habits so it forms behavior. And as you're doing that, sometimes you don't recognize you formed a behavior until perhaps maybe later on in life, whether it's a very good behavior or a poor behavior. How much did your time in the ECAC, not only training, as a hockey player, playing as a teammate, but then your academic and integrating all that together?
Yeah. Well, I think it was enormously helpful again. And also I feel the need to point out that, as nice as we're going to talk about my time in college and personally, I think all of this is done very well. Nobody's a finished product, and I certainly still have a lot to keep working on in honestly building some of those consistencies and habits. And as a person who kind of has had attentional difficulties over time, I have no doubt that I have built in a number of routines which are invisible to me, and like that probably helped during college and during playing pro hockey, and have just seen that even though my brain kind of wants to run away from routine, there's basically nothing better for me of just having, to your point, those habits and being able to do it every day. Um, Sometimes I think I'm fearful of that. It seems and sounds boring, but obviously that discipline of being able to either not do the things you want in the moment for that instant gratification, or focus on or being able to make peace with doing hard things over and over to get to that ultimate end line. It's a huge hill to climb on both fronts, and one that I do believe certainly playing in the ECAC and going to Princeton University set me up for, but one that's still a challenge, for myself at very least, and yeah, still working on it every day.
One of the things that also jumped out to me is how the alumni, not only within the university, but the alumni within the ECAC, like how they're willing to come out if you need help or you're looking for help or advice or career, that they're always willing to jump on board and be able to point you in the right direction. And that network to me is extremely powerful. Can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Absolutely, and I I've been fortunate enough to actually get back on the ice, and sort of meet which is sort of terrifying, somewhat the next generation. There's a skate here in New York, that number of college guys and a bunch of ECAC players. Unfortunately, they graduated like from 7 to 10 years after I did, which is now getting interesting. But even that, like connecting with those guys is so much fun, and being able to hear their stories, and you just have those that common language to be able to connect. And then just the hockey world itself is a really special one. I just was at our player orientation program where we bring in almost 100 kind of basically rookies or young players who were expected to play kind of full time this year or close to it. And really, it's just trying to prepare them for their NHL career, talking about finances, sensitivity training, media training, understanding their health and medical rights, and all of these. We throw a ton at them, and God willing, some of it sticks. That I think it does. But the most salient point is the guys that come back. Some alumni end up being speakers and join the sessions, and it is one of those things I've come to appreciate as years go by, that I mean, the guys will be there when you're in trouble. And I think there is something inherent in the hockey mentality that makes us show up for each other. And that's the negative side, is obviously if something goes wrong, they'll be there to catch you. But also I think a lot of I mean, you and I were talking before. It's like I hope to be able to chat again too, because hopefully we can help each other out. And I think that's pretty part and parcel to being a hockey guy or gal, and the hockey world is great at that.
Well, Kevin, want to thank you very much for coming on the show. Great insight. Look forward to speaking to you in the future.
Right back at you, Shane. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
We're going to take a short break on Hockey Prospect Radio. Stay tuned right after this.